The amount of store closures continues to increase. Every day it seems a new chain is filing for bankruptcy. This is always happening to some degree. Stores go out of business. But to the degree we have seen in the last few years is unprecedented. We are at the same level from back in 2008 and investors don't even know what's happening. They may believe the rise in online sales is the absolute reason behind this. But of course, we are seeking the data and finding that really isn't the case. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to talk about the retail apocalypse. That's right, now 5,600 stores have announced shutdown in 2019 and we are barely scratching the surface on this year so far. This is looking like it will be a record year for store closures. As I said in the introduction, it's the worst it's been since 2008, the financial crisis. Looks like it's going to surpass that. We have seen individuals talking about how the rise of Amazon has been the cause of this. I'll show you some statistics in just a second. I'm going to go through the list of those 5,600 stores to give you a breakdown of exactly what's coming in front of you. I'm going to look at the bankruptcy data. I'm going to show you where to get that so you could see for yourself. There's a lot to cover today, so let's begin with the list. I did a video about this recently, and at that time it was nearly 5,000 stores that were closing. That's the video I presented. And then the next week, I saw that it was already 5,300. And the week after, it became 5,600. And so I have to bring this video to you, but I know that it's going to be outdated in a few weeks because the stores are closing so rapidly, I can't keep up. More than 5,600 stores are closing in 2019 as the retail apocalypse drags on. Here is the full list. I will go through this very quickly for you. Payless Shoe Source, 2,500 stores. Gymboree, 805 stores. Charlotte Russe, 520. Family Dollar, 390. Shopko, 371. Chico's, Gap, Performance Bicycle, Sears, Destination Maternity, Victoria's Secret, Kmart, Abercrombie & Finch, Christopher & Banks, JCPenney, Beauty Brands, and the list goes on. It is very important to understand that yes, we have store closures. They happen all the time. Companies go out of business. That's just a fact of life. However, this is because of the economy. That is the primary reason for the mass amount of store closures. Yes, there are stores opening today. More will open tomorrow, but there are many more stores closing than are opening, and of course if that continues, we have ourselves a reason to believe that the slowdown is taking hold. That's what I want to get across today. So let's move on to one that I had noted recently, and that is Shopko. Shopko will liquidate its assets and close all of its remaining locations by mid-June. So initially they were going to close 70% of the stores, keep the other 30 open, and this would be able to go through their bankruptcy, they restructure everything, and now they just decide, okay, we're closing up shop. This is what's happening, not just with Shopko, but with so many of these different stores. One by one, they're all closing down. And every time I do a video about this, I always have a lot of the comments mentioning the fact that it's the rise of e-commerce. E-commerce is doing it. Amazon is doing it. They're killing all the stores. This is what is the primary and only reason for this to occur. But of course, if you look at the statistics, we can actually get a factual based answer instead of just making that suggestion. For example, we have the retail closures that are taking place here in Canada today, but look at the actual purchases that take place on Amazon itself. Amazon in Canada is not very good. In the US, it is much better. The selection of products is better, the prices are better, and obviously there's probably a greater share of people using it. However, in Canada, it's really bad, and I have done my own studies on this myself. I know specifically it's not very good at all. Yes, people do buy on there, but the availability of the products is actually a minuscule amount compared to that which in the United States. I don't think a lot of people know this, but the largest percentage of the items that are sold on Amazon are through third-party sellers, not Amazon directly. You can actually list your own products on Amazon, and that in Canada is very minuscule, or you see them on there, but the prices are astronomical. It's like 5 or 10 times greater than what you would get it at the store. So obviously nobody's going to buy it on there. And we are still seeing the retail apocalypse that's occurring here as well. So that just gives you some insight onto the actual facts. E-commerce share of total retail sales in the United States, this gives us from 2013 to 2021 is projected. And you can see that right now, 2019, it is 11%. Okay, so that's throughout 2019, a projected data data because this is actually coming as of 2017, but let's say anywhere between 10 and 11% in here. As far as I'm concerned, what we're looking at today is a small amount compared to the total of retail sales. But if you start excluding this or that, maybe you can get it up to 15%, let's say, maybe it's 20%, I don't know. Either way, it's not the large bulk of the sales that are happening. Well, it is because of the economy. The economy is slowing down and all the weaker stores, the ones that could have existed before, are going under. That's the way it is today. Yes, there's more and more selection. There's too many stores out there. There are too many malls out there, and we have a problem with that. So some stores should close, but should 5,600 stores be announcing closure as of the first 3 months basically of the year? No, it's too much. That's a fact. So I'm looking at this and I am really drawing my conclusions right now. Now, to add to my point, it's not just retail. GM poised to close plants in Michigan, Ohio, Maryland, will cut 15% of salaried workers. You remember this, right? There are so many factories that are closing today, and yes, there are other ones that are opening, but we have to understand it's a large scale that are closing, and this goes for not just retail, because of course, you're not going to buy a car on Amazon. It doesn't work like that, okay? So this is just part of it, and this will only get worse as time goes on. The actual conditions are worsening, but people aren't aware because they look at the S&P 500, and that is just such a small piece. It's Wall Street, not Main Street. These haunting photos reveal the retail apocalypse ripping through America. This is as of March 13, 2019, but I know I've seen these pictures before. I just wanted to give you an idea of some of these malls that have been abandoned and how bad they look. You could just see this here, the completely empty malls, or maybe they have 1 or 2 stores. Maybe the food court is still operational. These are broken down. Nobody's taking care of them anymore. There's probably initially with real estate investment trusts, they got rid of them and no one wants to buy them anymore and they just sit there rotting. You could see how bad this is in so many cases. I mean, these companies, you have to understand that JCPenney, that's in the picture here, that one store must have employed countless employees, let's say 100 or 200 employees, who knows? And each of those people went around to the other stores in the mall and they bought things. They bought gifts for their family. They bought food at lunchtime. They bought coffee at the store. They bought things of any nature. And that, of course, makes the whole thing keep spinning. But as suddenly you get one of the big box stores, they start closing, then other one starts closing, then they all start to fall down. And then you have apparently a completely abandoned shopping mall like this. And it just goes on and on. You could see it here. They are trying to cover this up by putting walls to close off the areas and nobody's going to anymore. There's nothing on the shelves. It's looking terrible. But anyway, that's where we're at today. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the bankruptcy data here. The name of the website's very easy to remember, bankruptcydata.com. And you have to sign up to their website to get all the details, but at least you can see a few that are in this list right here for free. If you want to get the free trial, you can get that and so on. But basically, it just shows you all the different stores. And it's not necessarily these massive stores that everybody knows about. Look at this. For example, Reading Eagle Company, they had an asset range of 10 million to 50 million. So they're pretty big. I mean, it's not a small company. Then you keep going down between 1 and 10 million, the next one, and go on beyond that and beyond that, and you could see. So it gives you a small list here if you're ever interested in checking it out. This is brand new data. We're looking at these ones from March 20th, 2019. There are several here. So all of this is just compounding over and over and over again. Something else I wanted to show you here was provided on that website. You can see this pie chart as they have a breakdown for exactly all the different sectors. Retail is a large chunk, no doubt about that. 19%. Okay, that's the bankruptcies that are happening today. A lot of retail locations. Of course, that's the way it's going to be. Oil and gas, 14%. And I do believe this was as of 2017 or 2018's data. So, of course, oil and gas might be more profitable if the price moves up and so on. But anyway, this is what we're looking at. Then you see chemicals on there, healthcare's on there at 10%, supermarkets on there at 10% as well. There's other, which makes up the bigger chunk, which they don't give us a breakdown. But anyway, I just wanted to show this to you to give you an idea of what's really happening. Because if you're just saying, well, it's Amazon, well, that's not really a good indication of what's happening today. It's not just retail that's closing down. We have all different sectors that are closing down today. 5,600 stores is just one part of the puzzle. I wanted to show you that because I think it's so important to see all the details, to find out all the reasons behind something and not just point your finger at one individual thing. Remember what I said about Amazon. Most of the sales that take place are through third-party sellers. Amazon does make a commission on that, but you have to understand that it's the individuals out there who are selling products to other individuals, and they use Amazon as a marketplace. So it's not so one-sided. It's not so easy to pick out and identify. There's a lot more going on. Remember what I said about Canada and the way retail is going here as well. I do believe that this is a global economic slowdown that is taking place today, and this is an asynchronous series of events that's happening. We are seeing the multiplication of the currencies today as they print. We are seeing the deficits go crazy in every country just about. We are looking at the governments going out and doing everything they possibly can to keep this Ponzi scheme going. They are historically dropping interest rates to near record lows or at record lows in some cases, and there is no possible way that this won't end in destruction. But hey, who knows what's going to happen? I'm just trying to give you the data, and I hope you do appreciate that. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. When you give me a like on this video, you are supporting this channel, you are supporting the truth, so I do appreciate that very much. If you want the financial education you were not taught in school, these two books have everything that you need. You can get all the details here at the link in the description. I'm going to talk about the foundation, the history, the asset classes, making money, so much more. Check it out. If you want the audiobook, that's available at themoneygps.com. If you haven't seen this video already, please do so. It's talking about the Federal Reserve and Powell's admissions that there are so many people today that are not part of the workforce. No, not part of the unemployment rate, but they're not part of the workforce. A record amount, near a record amount actually, and we can look at this data, break it down, and see Powell himself talking about it.